The palace floated above the shining blue planet like a jewel in the dark sea of space. Its tall spires reflected the distant sun, and the grand halls were alive with light and the quiet hum of advanced technology. This palace was home to the alien royal family, rulers of a powerful interstellar empire. Among them, humans were rare visitors, fragile, small, and often treated as curiosities rather than equals. Jared, the human, stood at the entrance of the grand hall. His heart beat fast, but he held himself straight. He had not been raised in this alien world, but he had trained his mind and body for situations like this. Today he would face the mocking of the alien princess, the queen's daughter, and prove that humans could be brave and capable, even in a world far from Earth. The court was filled with aliens of every size and shape. Some had 4 arms, others had scales that shimmered in light. Their eyes glowed softly, and their voices carried in a melodic hum that echoed across the hall. The human stood out immediately. He was smaller than most of them, wearing simple clothing that marked him as human, and he carried no exotic gadgets or weapons, only the sword at his side. The aliens whispered among themselves, curious and amused. The princess entered the hall. She was tall, graceful, and radiated confidence. Her eyes, bright and sharp, scanned the crowd, stopping on Jared. A slow smile formed on her face, full of amusement. "Ah, my human husband," she said, her voice musical but edged with mockery. "How long will you pretend to belong here among the stars? Your feet are small, your body is weak, and your mind, well, let's see if it can keep up with us." Some of the court laughed, some merely smiled, and a few glanced at Jared with sympathy. But he did not falter. He met her gaze calmly. His hand rested lightly on the hilt of his sword, but he did not draw it. Drawing it now would only feed her arrogance.
He waited, breathing slowly, steadying himself. The princess stepped closer, her long cloak brushing the floor.
"I hear that humans think themselves brave," she continued. "But in my world, strength is in every muscle, every thought. Tell me, human, how will you survive here? How will you stand when every one of us could crush you without effort?" Jared's lips curved into a small, confident smile. "I don't need to be the strongest to survive," he said. His voice was calm but firm. "I need to be clever. I need to be brave. And most importantly, I need to stand for what is right." The hall went quiet. Even the whispering stopped. Aliens were not used to hearing humans speak with such certainty in a world where they felt fragile. The princess's smile faltered for a moment. She was not used to resistance, especially not from her human spouse. She took a step back, tilting her head, her sharp eyes assessing him. "Very well," she said finally. "If words are not enough, perhaps action will show your value." She raised a hand, and the court's attention turned to a large arena connected to the hall. Holographic energy blades glowed around the edges of the platform. "We will have a ceremonial duel. You will face me, not to harm, of course, but to test if you can survive among us," the court murmured excitedly. A human facing an elite alien warrior? Many thought it would be amusing to watch the human fail. They had seen the human's strength. Humans were smaller, slower, and far less powerful than most of the alien warriors. This duel, they assumed, would be quick and entertaining. Jared nodded. He stepped forward, feeling the weight of the court's eyes and then the weight of his own determination. This was not just about winning a duel. It was about proving that humanity had courage, skill, and honor. He knew he could not rely on raw strength. He had to rely on his speed, his mind, and his experience with strategy. The arena doors opened. Light flooded the platform and the hum of the palace faded, replaced by the sharp buzz of energy in the duel field. The princess stepped forward, her posture perfect, her blade glowing with a brilliant blue light. Her movements were smooth, trained, precise. She was a warrior of her world, and she knew every motion and tactic. Jared drew his sword slowly. The metal gleamed, simple and unadorned, but it felt right in his hands. He felt the hum of energy around him, felt the weight of responsibility. He was a human, yes, but he was not weak. He had fought, trained, and survived against challenges far beyond what many humans could imagine. Today he would show it. The princess circled him, her eyes never leaving his. "I will go easy," she said, "so that your failure is not too embarrassing." Jared's jaw tightened. He did not answer. Words were no longer needed. The duel would speak for itself. They faced each other, blades raised. The first strike was fast, faster than Jared expected. The princess moved like water, her attacks fluid and strong. He dodged, rolled, and blocked, relying on reflexes and anticipation. Each move was a test of skill, each attack a puzzle he had to solve. The audience watched in silence. Some aliens leaned forward, intrigued. Some whispered, uncertain. Jared was holding his own. The human, small and underestimated, was adapting to every attack, countering with clever moves that surprised the princess. She raised an eyebrow. "Interesting," she said almost grudgingly. "You have more skill than I expected." Jared did not respond. His focus was on the fight, on every motion, every shift of energy. He was not here to prove himself to the court. He was here to prove that humans, though smaller and seemingly weaker, could face challenges with courage and intelligence. Minutes passed like seconds. The princess increased the speed of her attacks, but Jared adapted. He moved faster than she expected, anticipating her patterns, using his agility to turn her own strength against her. The duel became a dance of skill, speed, and wit, drawing the attention of every spectator in the hall. Finally, the princess launched a rapid series of strikes, a move designed to overwhelm any opponent. Jared stepped back, analyzed the rhythm, and with a swift motion redirected her energy, avoiding her attack while positioning himself advantageously. The court gasped. This human, small and underestimated, was keeping pace with an elite alien warrior. The duel paused. The princess looked at him, surprise and a hint of respect in her eyes. Jared lowered his sword slightly, breathing steadily. "I do not seek to humiliate you," he said, "but I will not be humiliated myself. Strength is not only in the body, it is in courage, in mind, and in heart." The princess's lips twitched. She had not expected such words, and certainly not the skill behind them. The court was silent. Some leaned forward, amazed. A few whispered to each other. Perhaps humans were not as weak as they had assumed. The first part of the duel ended with both combatants stepping back. Sweat glistened on Jared's forehead, but his eyes were steady, his posture firm. The princess studied him carefully. She had mocked him, laughed at him, and yet here he stood, not defeated, not fearful, not small. The queen, watching from her high throne, nodded slightly. She saw something in the human her daughter had not expected: courage, intelligence, and the will to stand tall in a world that did not favor him. The court waited, breathless. The next part of the duel would reveal more. The human had proven he could survive, but could he triumph? Could he turn the tide of a challenge designed to humiliate him? For Jared, it did not matter. He was ready. He had come to this world not just to survive, but to show the universe that humans, underestimated and mocked, could rise to meet any challenge with honor, courage, and strength of heart. And as he stepped back, preparing for the next encounter, he felt it, the calm determination that comes only to those who face impossible odds and refuse to bow. The arena lights glowed brighter, casting long shadows. The princess tightened her grip on her blade, a challenge in her eyes. Jared smiled faintly, gripping his sword. The duel had only just begun. The arena lights shimmered across the polished floor, casting long, wavering shadows as the duel resumed. Jared's heart beat steadily, each pulse a reminder that he was alive, alert, and ready. The princess faced him with narrowed eyes, her pride bruised, her movement sharper than before. She had expected to humiliate him, to show the court the weakness of humans, but now doubt flickered in her gaze. The court watched silently. The air was thick with tension. Aliens leaned forward on their feet or hovered slightly above the floor, their eyes glowing with anticipation. The duel had already become a spectacle unlike any they had seen before. A human standing toe-to-toe with an elite alien warrior, unafraid and clever. Jared took a deep breath. He had no desire to fight to harm her, but he had learned quickly. This battle was about skill, courage, and respect. The princess's attacks came faster now, almost a blur. Her blade, a brilliant beam of energy, cut through the air with precision and strength. Every strike was designed to test his limits, and most humans would have been overwhelmed long ago. He dodged and parried, relying not on brute force but on anticipation. He watched her body, the angles of her attacks, the rhythm of her movement. He realized that she had patterns, subtle ones, almost imperceptible to the untrained eye. But Jared had trained to notice details. Every tilt of her wrist, every slight shift of her weight was a clue. The princess lunged, aiming for his left side. Jared sidestepped, letting her momentum carry her forward. He moved with speed and purpose, redirecting her energy with a small, controlled sweep of his sword. The princess stumbled slightly, her eyes widening in surprise. A murmur ran through the court. "You adapt quickly," she said, her voice steady but tinged with astonishment. "Perhaps humans are not as weak as we believed." Jared held his stance, sweat dripping down his forehead, but his eyes calm and focused. "Strength is more than muscle," he replied. "It is courage, strategy, and the will to act when others hesitate." The duel intensified. The princess attacked from every angle, her speed and skill formidable. Jared moved with agility, dodging, blocking, and striking in ways that forced her to rethink each move. The energy blades clashed with sparks and hums, filling the arena with flashes of light. At one point, the princess feinted a strike, pretending to aim at his chest, then swung toward his legs. Jared anticipated the trick. He shifted just in time, deflecting her attack and creating an opening. With a swift motion, he tapped her blade with the tip of his sword, sending a small shock of energy along the beam. The princess's eyes widened. She had been caught off guard. A human had countered her with skill and quick thinking. The audience gasped. The whispers of amusement had turned into quiet astonishment. Even the more skeptical aliens leaned forward, captivated by the human's courage and ingenuity. The princess straightened, her pride warring with admiration. "You are not just lucky, human," she said. "You are clever, precise, and fearless." Jared smiled faintly. "I am not here to impress you," he said. "I am here to show that humans can rise to any challenge even when the odds are against them." The duel continued, each strike a test of skill and will. The princess increased the intensity, trying to push him back, but Jared adapted. He used his smaller size and faster reflexes to his advantage, slipping through her defenses, countering attacks, and maintaining his focus. He was not the strongest, but he was resilient, and that resilience became his greatest weapon. Minutes passed like seconds. The energy in the arena crackled with anticipation. Then, in a sudden burst of strategy and courage, Jared feinted a move to his right. The princess reacted immediately, expecting him to strike, but he pivoted to the left, using her own momentum against her. His blade tapped hers at just the right angle, disarming her without causing harm. The energy blade went out of alignment, and the princess stumbled backward. The court erupted in gasps. Aliens who had laughed at him moments before now looked on with disbelief. The human, small and underestimated, had turned the duel in his favor without hurting his opponent. The princess, breathing hard, looked at him with wide eyes. Pride and surprise battled across her face. She realized that this human was unlike any other she had met, brave, intelligent, and resourceful. She had mocked him, assumed his weakness, and now he had earned her respect. Jared lowered his sword respectfully, a gesture of honor. "I did not come to humiliate you," he said calmly. "I came to show that humans, even in a world not their own, can stand with courage and integrity." The princess's voice was quiet now, almost reverent. "You have proven yourself," she admitted. "I mocked you because I thought it was easy, but you have shown me something unexpected. Perhaps humans are not to be underestimated." The queen, observing from her throne, nodded approvingly. She had watched her daughter's duel and saw what the court did not: Jared's heart, his courage, and his unwavering respect. He was not just a human in a foreign world. He was a symbol of honor and resilience. The princess extended her hand toward him, a gesture of truce and acknowledgement. "You have earned my respect, human," she said. "I no longer mock you, for you have shown that strength is more than physical power." Jared took her hand, feeling the warmth of genuine respect. He smiled. "And you have shown me that courage can be recognized even in a world so different from my own." The court erupted into applause, their previous doubts replaced with admiration. Aliens of every kind whispered to each other, amazed at the human skill, bravery, and honor. Some had expected a quick and amusing duel, but instead, they witnessed a human rise to challenge the unexpected, proving that courage and intelligence could defy appearances. The princess and Jared stepped down from the arena platform. The glow of the energy blades faded, leaving the hall bright and alive with excitement. The queen looked on, a small approving smile on her face. "Perhaps this human will bring more than just companionship to our world," she murmured. "Perhaps he will remind us that courage and wisdom can come in forms we do not expect." As the crowd dispersed, the princess walked beside Jared. She did not mock him anymore. Instead, she asked questions, curious about his world, his training, and his experiences. For the first time, she saw the human not as weak, but as someone remarkable, a partner, an equal, and a source of inspiration. Jared answered patiently, sharing stories of his training, his struggles, and his determination to survive and grow stronger. He did not boast, but he spoke with honesty, and that honesty impressed the princess even more. She realized that mockery and pride had blinded her, but courage, skill, and integrity could never be hidden. The palace seemed brighter now, not just because of the lights, but because of the respect that had grown between worlds. A human and an alien princess had faced each other in challenge and emerged with mutual respect. The court would remember this duel for years, not as a spectacle of amusement, but as a story of bravery, intelligence, and honor. Jared felt a quiet satisfaction. He had not only survived a duel designed to humiliate him, but he had also earned respect in a world that had doubted his abilities. He had shown that humans, though small and underestimated, could face challenges with courage, skill, and heart. And as he looked at the princess, he knew that this was only the beginning. Together they would navigate the complexities of her world, the court, and the stars themselves. But one thing was certain: he had proven that humans could rise to greatness, even where they were least expected. The palace hummed softly in the background, the stars twinkled beyond the walls, and Jared felt the calm satisfaction of someone who had faced impossible odds and emerged with honor intact. He sheathed his sword and smiled at the princess, who returned the gesture with a nod of newfound respect. In that moment, a silent understanding passed between them. Mockery had been replaced with admiration. Doubt had been replaced with recognition. And the human, small yet unyielding, had shown that courage and skill were not limited by size, species, or expectation. The arena had been the proving ground. But the universe awaited, full of challenges, adventures, and opportunities. And Jared, the human who had drawn his sword and faced the alien princess, was ready for all of it.